Hi, I'm Linz. Welcome to Becoming Everwell, a channel where we talk about the ongoing journey of becoming. In today's life learning episode for Midlife You, we're talking about when you outgrow what's comfortable. I make sense of life by writing about real everyday stuff that makes us who we are. Some of these snapshots are fun, some are more serious. Maybe they'll open up something in you too. Let's grow. In need of new reads, I recently took my boys to our local library. Without discussing it, we trod into the same children's section that we've been inhabiting and loving for over a decade. Greeted by the sweet-natured librarian's welcome, she asked if she could help us with anything. The boys scattered to their preferred sections while I picked her brain. I went on about how my older daughter's retelling of plot lines from some of her YA books have my boys gripped, and asked if she could help us find some realistic fiction with human interest stories that are similar but feature middle school kids rather than high school kids. She led me to the wall of books that features these kinds of stories and then said, "I think you'll find more of what you're looking for downstairs in the teen lounge." My preteen boys overheard this and we all took pause. I quietly queried, "Have we outgrown the children's section?" The librarian shrugged and smiled, and my boys seemed a bit surprised by the suggestion. We decided to make our way downstairs to explore the PlayStation-equipped book-lined teen lounge on the lower level. The teen lounge librarian, with her alternative vibe, greeted us with total enthusiasm. She gave us a tour and helped us find some relevant books before the boys settled in to play video games for a bit. Eventually, as we left, my 12-year-old son, who's deliciously young at heart, told me that he didn't like the teen lounge. Knowing him and his natural resistance to change, I asked if the teen lounge was the problem or if maybe he's actually sad about outgrowing the children's section. He concurred straight away that it was the latter, and he quietly revealed, "I'm not ready for this change." Oh, my sweet boy. Oh, my heart. I assured him that he's still welcome to cozy up with a book on a favorite chair in the children's section, if that's his preferred spot, and he nodded. But I felt from him a deeper sadness from his realization that a sliver of what's constructed his happy childhood is leaving him. For years, as a high school English teacher, I taught J.D. Salinger's The Catcher in the Rye. The story captures the perspective of a 16-year-old Holden Caulfield. We learn that Holden faced a family tragedy at age 13 that effectively cut off his childhood innocence with terrifying abruptness, and he develops a peculiar dream to grow up and become the catcher in the rye. His idea is that he'd position himself just below a cliff's drop-off from a vast field of rye where kids run and play freely, so that he could catch kids that accidentally fall from the cliff's edge and save them from that devastating fate. Holden's life had impressed upon him that the total, carefree, love-rich joy of youth becomes a harsh, lonely, and painful reality of adulthood in a sudden, dramatic moment, and there's no going back. This is what I've imagined Holden's idea of the cliff looking like. On my parenting adventure, Holden, although fictional, sojourns with me. Holden reminds me that we each only get one childhood, and it's become so obvious to me in my late 40s that one's childhood forever impacts adulthood, for better or worse. I've thought many times that my dream for my kids is that their childhoods are void of untimely jolts that shatter their innocence. Rather, my dream is that they'd be among the fortunate ones who have secure foundations of good childhoods that stretch seamlessly into their respective roads of maturation. I'm aware that I can't save them from the metaphoric cliffs in their worlds. I certainly can't control the cliffs. I can't even recognize some of the cliffs that kids in today's world face. But I can be present and do my best to envelop their lives with love and trust as they approach the various on and off ramps that come with growing up, so that their transitions feel more smooth than cliff-like. And here I am, with my oldest son, who's teetering between childhood and adolescence, and he's bummed about the subtle change to his life at the library. But as I reflect while on our climb back up the library steps, I imagine that Holden is there too. And although Holden might roll his eyes at this minuscule library moment, because of course my son will be fine, I also imagine him nudging me, pointing at the stairs, as if to say, look. And I'd notice the steps. It would make sense to this mom's heart that my boy has the ability to descend and ascend those steps freely as he finds his way into a new place of comfort in this unfamiliar next stage. Then I'd widen my scope and see that in both places he'd been welcomed by ambassadors who seemed ready for his arrival. And Holden's nudge would also remind me that my child knows he is walking these steps alongside people who love him. I don't think we're designed to ever be ready for change, whether the change is dramatic or subtle. But when we find ourselves facing change, either directly or as a loved one looking on, despite the sadness that comes from our awareness of loss, I'll bet that if we look closely, good things glimmer on the path ahead too. Let's keep growing. Thanks for being here today. I'm Lindsay Hurdy. You can find my Substack, lindsayhurdy.substack.com, and read everything that I write, learn more about me. You can also learn about me on my website, lindsayhurdy.com. I'm so grateful that you're here. I hope you're having a wonderful day, and I look forward to seeing you next time. Bye for now. Be sure to like and subscribe and click that bell to get alerts for new posts. I'd be ever grateful.